Alright, so I've just seen a very good documentary on Netflix that has just come out. It's actually, right now when I saw on the list, it was top 3 from top 10 currently trending on Netflix United States. And it's called Chaos, Manson Murders. And I also wrote down some stuff right here real quick. Some notes that I was taking while I was watching this documentary because I was like, if I'm going to make a review for this, I'm going to write down some key notes, some things that I think were key to put in their movie review. And also, I like that this came out right at the time where I just rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. And also, I was in the mood to watch Helter Skelter, this movie that came out in the 1970s. And right before I decided to watch this, came out in 1976, thought I'd give this show a try to put me into that mood of a Charles Manson mood, to visually see from the murders. So start off. This film that is based on a book called Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. So, by Tom O'Neill with Dan Piepenbring. And also Tom O'Neill, which is one of the lead authors of this book, Chaos, who turned into this Netflix documentary film. This guy spent 20 years researching the Charles Manson murders and the CIA with MK Ultra and stuff like that. So, 20 years of one guy researching something, and then he also goes on the Joe Rogan podcast, which is where I originally heard of this Chaos, the book. And Joe Rogan, he was even interviewing the guy, and then now 4 years later, after that Joe Rogan interview, last time I saw it, 4 million views. Now there's a documentary about it, and also the Joe Rogan special when he was talking with Tom O'Neill. The video is called "Was Charles Manson a CIA Asset?" JRE number 1459. I'm gonna put that link in the description for that video. And also JRE from the podcast, former CIA agent Mike Baker gives background info on MK Ultra, Midnight Climax, and Charles Manson. JRE number 1519. Now, to this documentary that I'm watching, it did talk about a lot of stuff. For once, that they have here on my notes is the Charles Manson girls. They talked about the Charles Manson girls for a little bit. They talked about some of the essential ones, and I was talking about how a lot of these girls had sexual diseases because all they wanted to do was bang. Like, one of the women's quotes were "F me, feed me, and get me high." So as long as you had that, you're gonna get some poon at the Spawn Ranch. And also, I have the family members, the Charles Manson family members, listen to the Beatles' White Album on LSD, and apparently Manson thought Blackbird was code for black men because apparently Charles Manson wanted to start a race war. And also that song Blackbird could also made have been a link to the Black Panthers because apparently Operation Chaos was to disrupt the left-wing progression of the Black Panthers. So this goes deep, people. They talk about some deep stuff in this documentary. Netflix does good with their documentaries. And also they talk about Helter Skelter was the song that made Charles Manson want to name the operation to kill all these celebrities. He called it Operation Helter Skelter. That's Charles Manson's operation. And also I like that in this documentary they have different clips of the interviews with some of the girls and Charles Manson, and they cut in certain parts and they put it together very nicely in this documentary. And also what else? So that was the first page of notes. So let's get on to the second. And also there were shots of Charles Manson's record playing with his music in the background, and also I have a brief insight on how Charles Manson was approached by some people from the Beach Boys to help create a demo tape. So how people know about Charles Manson's music is that there's sessions of him doing a demo, and I think they did a really good job with audio restoration on that. And also that once the jury was going on with the Charles Manson murders, the Helter Skelter book caused a lot of lawyers to get greedy. And also there was amazing jury footage, and also the editing was really good. I mean, this is Netflix documentary. Their documentaries are good. Like Jeffrey Dahmer, the Ramirez, the Night Stalker, like these are good documentaries, people. And the quality was good. The music, the vocals, the way these women, the Charles Manson girls would talk, they'll sing "Forever is always forever, forever is always as one," and then it echoes, and then It goes to people talking about the MK Ultra, and I think the transitions were really good. People, I'm just saying. I mean, I think they were good for a Netflix, and also they also repeatedly mention Charles Manson's magnetic personality, such as when he goes to a room, the energy would get drawn to him, and he just had the it factor of being manipulative. He recognized it and he used it on his people. What else? The MK Ultra that was specifically done possibly to Charles Manson was for behavioral modification. You know, by the way, I do love the CIA's rock music. I've smoked to the CIA's rock music and I love it. CIA, and the devil too. Those who, when they link together, create, some 70s hippies rock. The Doors, Jim Morrison, and all that. CIA, you make good music. Hands down, you do some of the best. So yeah, behavioral modification, and also like this. They were also saying were his lessons that Charles Manson learned, were they learned in prison? Because apparently Charles Manson would have weekly visits to a certain MK Ultra doctor, a person that would do this, but he later say that it was fake. He was trying to prove that he was saying that he was never involved with the CIA, but then there's 15 years worth of documents of this guy being at the operations. So, you know what I mean? So this guy saying he's not part of the CIA, MK Ultra, but then there's 15 years of paperwork that proves he was an associate with that program. So you'll be the judge, people. Was he or was he not? This random doctor that was taking Charles Manson out of prison every once a week to do this programming. And those programmings were teaching Charles Manson how to talk to people, how to implant thoughts into people, how to talk to make them want to talk, listen to you, like crazy shit. And also, what else? Charlie gave LSD to his family members to program thoughts, which remained with trigger words and false memories. So apparently they're saying that since these people were giving Charles Manson LSD and he would give it to his family, he say that he did take the LSD, but he wouldn't, just so he could give it to his family members, and he would talk to them. He'll talk to them with words. He'll implant them with thoughts, so that whenever those girls are out in the real life, they just hear a certain word like piggy, and next thing you know, they just want to commit murder because of the song Piggies, because they were tripping on acid. This is amazing stuff. The agents who contacted Charles Manson had previous success with implanting false memories. So one of the doctors that was repeatedly working with Charles Manson, he was proven through CIA government that he could give people false memories, and that will get them to just freak out, right, with code words. And overall, the last thing that before I wrap this all up is that I give this a 5-star. And right when I was thinking what will be the extra level of, like, why would I give it a 5 stars? Because at first I was giving it like a 4.8, but I was like, you know what, what's missing from this documentary? And then right when I said that, they showed a shot of Sharon Tate where she was leaning against some flowers, and you could just see in her eyes and her face that what Quentin Tarantino was able to do so good in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Margot Robbie was show that that girl, Margot Robbie, right? She was just starting in Hollywood. Like, her whole career was just so in front of her, and she was starting off, she's young, and she was going to be so damn popular than what she is, than what she died as. And that moment was captured at that moment when I saw it on the TV screen. And then it starts playing the end credits of Charles Manson music, and it shows Charles Manson being taken into jail. And just the transition was like, okay, now, like, it does hit again, like that Sharon Tate did have her whole world ahead of her before these Charles Manson murders. And that came across again in this documentary. So with that being said, it was very good. And I am now going to watch Helter Skelter, which was, I believe it was a TV show turned into a movie, and just like the Stephen King's It, so it's one of those, but people say this is one of the best Charles Manson movies out there, so that's why I got it. That's going to be the end of this review. This is a really good documentary, Netflix. Good job. Also, shout out to, like I said, the people who were writing this for 20 plus years, Tom O'Neill with Dan Pipe and Bring. And also, now I'm looking forward to getting the book. So that's going to be the end of this review for Chaos Manson Murders. Look for it on Netflix. As of right now, this recording, it is number 3. So maybe it'll get higher, maybe become number 1. But right now it's in the top 10. Definitely watch it. Check out those Joe Rogan interview clips that I have posted on my link. Check out my social media pages. I just did this just because I wanted to, because I haven't done a review in a long time, and because this documentary was really well made. So on to the next one.
Once again, I would like to say thank you for watching.